are new to our broadcast, let me just explain what we do. For the first little while, we're going to be catching up on news for our regular viewers. And then after that, we will go to the main topic. So if you're new to the broadcast and watching it on the replay, if you look below, it'll say from 00 to this time, the news and updates. And then from this time onwards is the main topic. So if you want to go straight to the main topic. Hi, Gigi. Welcome. I don't think I've seen you before. Hi. Good to see you. So I just want you to know that today's subject is going to be discussing how to say goodbye. And it's going to be talking about how to say goodbye on social media, how to say goodbye on various different ways, and the different ways that people have said goodbye to you, either good or bad. Because I think every one of those, yay! Welcome back, Lauren. We are so pleased to see your name. Jody will be here in a second. So I just want to make sure that everybody is up to date with all that's going on. Now, I'm going to just I just want to make sure that you understand the process, everybody. So, all right, we've got that sorted out. You understand. If you look below, it'll tell you where each start. Now, going on. Hi there, Nana. Welcome. And first of all, I want to just say, hi, Beth. Good to see you. I just wanted to say how incredible it was that they managed to save all those children and the coach out of Thailand. I'm certain that a lot of you, hi, Chip, I'm certain that a lot of you will have, thought so long and hard about those young people. And what a miracle that everybody came out alive, except for the one diver who ran out of oxygen, supplying oxygen to others. But, I even so, I think it's an absolute miracle that they all got out the way that they did. And I forgot to mention that at the lunchtime broadcast, but I did want to make sure that I thank you all for your thoughts and prayers. I know a lot of you put in your thoughts and prayers. Nana's saying it's a sad topic. Well, it is a sad topic, but it's also part of life. Life isn't all, fun stuff. And it came up in a request today. I'm doing stuff out of my mailbox at the moment, Nana. At lunchtime, I did a very difficult subject. And now today, we're going to be doing this one. Or this afternoon. And it is Friday the 13th, let's be honest. So there we go. Jody, isn't it wonderful to see Lauren's name popping up again? It's wonderful. So the main point that I have here is, Gigi, did you pop in? If you don't want to talk, Gigi, we understand that, but just go past and I will stop asking questions. But I just wondered whether you came in because of the subject. And, that's what I try to do, is do different subjects, because I think also different people have different issues. Okay, so Jody, I wonder if you could just make a note of that for me, that Nana has got a family member really sick in hospital right now. Yeah, absolutely. I will make sure that after I finish the broadcast, I will put up thoughts and prayers for you. No problem at all, Nana. I gladly will do that. So, yeah. And, the main thing is, thank you for letting us know, because if we know, then we can keep track of it for you in some way. All right. So Nana was an immediate family member. All right. All right. Anybody else have anything else that... No, I understand what you mean. It's not your story to tell. Yeah, that's okay. And I'm certainly not going to ask you to tell a story that you shouldn't be telling. That definitely isn't part of what we do. Yes, I was going to... You're actually number 2 on the list here. So yes, Lauren. Do we have any updates on your sister in hospital? Thank you for letting us know it's not Rick. I appreciate that, Nana. I just wanted, Jody, if you've got any updates on your health that people can hear about, please let us know. And just to let you know, thank you everybody that put out some support for Becca this week. I know that she had asked for some extra support, so thank you if you did that. All right, so if you are watching this broadcast, I would like to make sure that you get notifications of the broadcast. Please just go to the Dear Mama Sal page on Facebook and click the little bell that's on the top right-hand side. And that you only ever have to do that once. And if you do that, then it'll automatically tell you if ever I'm about to go live. And of course, if you follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, then that's where I put up notifications that I'm about to go live. All right. Oh, so Beth, well done. Beth, just come back to me with that in a second if I don't remember when I do the news and congratulations. Okay. So first of all, birthdays and anniversaries. The only anniversary I know about, we don't have any birthdays this week, but the only anniversary I know of is Jodie's little puppy, Taylor, joined their household a year ago. So I'd like to wish Taylor a very happy anniversary, and I'm pretty sure that Taylor's getting well and truly spoiled. All right, so Lauren's giving us some feedback here that her ketoacidosis is improving, but for whatever reason, she's lost some other functions. So I'm really sad to hear that, Lauren, but the main thing is she's in the right place, and presumably they will be able to find, the good news, and find out what's going on. And that's what I would really hope for. All right, let me just see here. All right, so who did I just say get back to me in a second if I don't do it in the congratulations? I can't believe I can't find that now. Thank you, Jody. I just need to just 1 second check something for Jody. She sent a link, and let's see if it came through correctly. Thanks for reminding me. I got a bit caught up with all the different things, and then we will be able to do this the right way. Yes, it worked. Well done, Jody. I taught Jody something new today, and I will actually teach you guys the same thing. Hang on 1 second. I just need to put the link up for people. There we go. All right, so that should work. Yes, it works. Well done, Jody. All right, so this is just for any of you that need to use links. There is a way of putting up a link so that it's not nearly as long. We found that the links, for example, for our various live streams, they're huge, long links, and so there is a site called Bitly, and if you go to Bitly, it will take a long link and then put it into a very short one. So it'll take something this long and give you a short Bitly link, which is much quicker to send. All right, so first of all, yes, Jody, well done. So you learned something new and it worked. So Jody is saying she could do with some good thoughts and prayers with her lymphedema. It's flaring up in a bad way. I'm really sorry to hear that. And so for those of you who don't know what lymphedema does, it makes your body blow up. So if ever you see somebody that looks like they are ridiculously overweight, for example, in their legs, It's almost like they've got tree trunks for legs, and it can actually, Jodie's has gone into her body. And you probably think, gosh, why is that person so overweight? Why don't they do something about it? It actually is a disease. And it is a failure of the lymph system to clear the liquids properly. And so Jodie is having a real problem with it. And not only a real problem with it, but she's having a real problem with it with the excessive heat that's going on as well. So if you can imagine the combination of those two. Yeah, Jodie is saying that, it's gone right the way up to her waist now. And, that is really scary. And so I guess I'd have to ask, because I am certain I'm not the only one that wants to know, Jodie, which is, as it does that, does it affect the organs on the way? Because I would imagine if it's up to the waist, there's certain organs that now have a lot of pressure on them that didn't have pressure on them before. And so I just, there's that part of me that goes, I have to ask that question. You don't have to answer it, obviously. But that would be my question. All right. So moving on, while Jodie is answering that for us, who was it that was? I know somebody gave me good news, and I said I'll get back to that when I get to that section. Oh, well, good news is Lauren is home and with us today. That is awesome. For those of you who heard about the fact at lunchtime that I'm going to have Dougie come visit me tomorrow because it's our belated Mother's Day lunch, it turns out that, oh, that's right, Beth, thank you. It turns out that he's not coming here. I need to go somewhere and meet him somewhere else. So, it's like, oh, rats. And the reason I'm saying that is because I had something that I wanted him to do when he came here, and he's not coming here. So now I've got to find another way of getting boxes downstairs. And I think what I'm going to have to do is actually move things from the box they're in into another box and take part of the box down and then repack them at the bottom of the stairs. Am I still moving? Yes, I am still going to be moving, but I still have to finish the downsizing. And I took another major step this week. I went to the bank and checked all the financials out, Nana. That was something that was holding me up. I wasn't 100% sure, if I want my money in a hurry, how do I do it? Yeah, Beth, I know that you would. Beth, I read your comment about work. And so I rolled my eyes, as you can imagine. It's just like, can you not get a break here? You're going to get a day off, and on that day off, they're going to call you in for a meeting. It's obviously an important meeting if they say everybody has got to go there. But again, if they call you in for a meeting on your day off, I would seriously say to them, I need a full day off. Do you have to go to that meeting? No. Hey, is it Yayi? I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Is it my sense is it's probably Yayi, but if not, it would be Judgy. Hi, whoever you are, welcome. Yes, it could be good news, that's for sure. But even so, I understand your frustration that was your day off, but they don't really care. You know what I mean? It's just like it's an important meeting to them. So, all right. So welcome to Georgie, and let us know, how did you find us? And thank you for popping in. It's out of your control, so you'll suck it up. Yes, but again, Beth, I would start keeping track of how many times you had a day off that they have, put the kibosh on one way or the other, either called you in to work or whatever. Nana asked me, you assume it went well with the bank? Yes, I got lots of things off my mind. And what surprised me, Nana, was how much research I'd done. Even the bank guy was pretty impressed as to how far I had gone with all of this, and the, you know, the levels I had gone to. Yep. Okay, so the topic today, we're going to do a time check here, is 15 minutes and 15:30, I would say. Jody, if you could make a note of that. We're going to be doing another subject from the mailbox. As some of you may know, at lunchtime today, I did two things from the mailbox. One was a case study about an abusive father. So if any of you have got abuse going on in your life, then you may want to check that out. The other one was that I did an unboxing because somebody, one of the street teamers on the Down Semper Street team had sent me a gift. And so I unboxed that. So that was fun to do as well. Just to make sure everybody is clear, we're going to be talking about saying goodbye to people. And it is interesting, actually, and things. The interesting part of this is, though, that I think there are so many different ways of doing it that's why I wanted us to have a discussion. And I don't need it to be a downer. I want it to be, I think it's something that, how many of you were ever taught the way to say goodbye to people? And I don't think many people discuss it, and therefore not many people know how to do it. And it did come up in a communication this week. Somebody said to me, I need to say goodbye to somebody. Tell me how to do it, right? So I said, that's a really good topic for a discussion. So let's do that. And just a reminder, I am not a psychiatrist or anything like that. The views you're going to hear are going to be my own and those of my viewers. So just let's do that. As this will be a bit of a mini workshop, you might want to take notes. And if you do, be a good time to go grab a piece of paper and a pencil if you'd like to remember that. Now, some people will already have a piece of paper and a pencil with them, or their version of it. How many of you watch on one thing and then take notes on another? I mean, everybody's so electrically tied in these days, digitally tied in, that it's amazing. So the question that I have, and the question that came to me originally was, I need to say goodbye to somebody on Facebook. I think that's where it was originally. But before I actually get into that, I wanted to tell you that in my... Okay, Becca. No, it's saying goodbye in all sorts of different ways. It's saying goodbye to people that, like, the question I got was, how do you defriend somebody on Facebook? Do you need to tell them you're about to do that? Yes, Becca, and that's why I say that this is a difficult subject, but it depends how you want to take it, right? Because every one of us has reason to say goodbye to people. Some people, as you know, I love the quote that my friend Marnie learned from her father. Some people come into our lives for a reason, some for a season, and some for a lifetime. And I think it's a really interesting question. When you've decided I've had enough of somebody on Facebook, how do you do that? What I wanted to do is I wanted to make sure that I mentioned, I'm going to type this up. So let me just put this person's name here. I've mentioned her before when talking about grieving, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. Now, the reason I talk about her is the only time this whole grieving process made sense to me was when I read some of the work she had done on saying goodbye to people. And I just thought it was amazing, how she's very cerebral, so it's not easy reading stuff, but she did say that there was a cycle to it. And so we'll get into that bit a bit later, but I do want to just let you know, if you're dealing with personal loss of a person, for example, or even of a pet, make sure you check out what Elizabeth Kubler-Ross had to say about, how to cope with it and what the cycle is. I will be talking about it in a second. But first of all, the question was, and I'm going to ask my viewers the question, because have any of you ever defriended anybody on Facebook? And why? What was your reason for defriending somebody? And because I want to make sure we understand. All right, so Beth says she has. Jody never has. So if you've never done it, it's an important thing. Becca says, no, she's never done it, but she has had other people do it. So, Becca, my question is, did they warn you first? Hi, Shami. Welcome. Right. So Beth said she did it to her mother-in-law. Right. So the reasons that you have for doing it are very... Okay, so Becca, they didn't actually tell you they were going to defriend you. They just defriended you without you knowing. How did you know you were defriended? Chip says, yes, she did it, and she just selected the option where they can't see her posts. Okay, good. All right, Nana's saying she defriended her nephews because they swear too much. Yes, good reason. Yes, I certainly have people in my life that I found swore a lot, and I said to them, I just understand your right to speak the way you want to, but I need to get out of the way of this because it's too much swearing for me. Okay, so Becca's saying the way she found out was she wanted to send them something and it wouldn't show up as a friend. Yes. So, but we've all probably, if we haven't had it happen, we're going to have it happen. And it may not be for any good reason. They may just have too many people on their list and they got rid of a few. I've had people say to me, I'm about to, go through my friend list and cut out a whole lot. And so, and I was quite pleased to still be on the list when they finished. So the question was asked is, do I need to warn them? So I think that is like saying, do you want to have good manners or not? So I would say that some of you are going to do that because you've got the sort of manners that do that. You're going to, but it's not an easy discussion. Hi, I just wanted to let you know I'm about to defriend you. And by the way, this is the reason. So Chip says the reason for her was she was a fake friend, or a pretend friend, as I like to call them, who only wanted to meet up when she needed something. As Chip, isn't that funny? How many people only have you as a friend because they need a friend, not because you want to be a friend to them? Becca says, yes, if somebody was about to defriend me, I'd like to know the reason. Yes, Becca, because you'd learn something, right? But Pat is saying that could cause a lot more drama. Yes, it could. But, so again, I would say, like everything in life, know your person. Now, there's some people that if you told them the reason that you were defriending them, all right, they would get really upset and probably lots of negativity. So I can understand why some people don't want to be told. So Becca's saying in her case, short-term hurt is better than long-term not knowing. Yes. And so that is the whole thing. I almost think there should be a little box somewhere that says, do you want to be advised if somebody is about to defriend you? I think it's really important that, that we get to understand that like everything in life, it's different strokes for different folks. Now, Chip says, I really wouldn't care if somebody defriended me. The older I get, the less I care about little things. Yeah. And I am certain that all sorts of people have defriended me in my lifetime. I'm pretty sure of that. And I don't really mind, nor do I really, it's like it's really, that's their business. All right. I don't live my life by the feelings of others, so to me, it's not a biggie. Now, if you defriended me and I cared about it, I think I'd realize that it had happened, and I'd probably hunt you down for a reason. You know what I mean? If you were really close to me and did it. So again, I don't think there is a right way. So the person that asked me, I know for a fact, is somebody with very good manners, and they probably feel the need to write and explain it. How many of you can understand that some people would feel the need to explain it because they've been taught good manners? You don't just walk away from something. You let the other person be aware that this is why you're doing it. How many of you were taught that? I was taught that in my life, but I understand that manners have changed a great deal since the day I was taught. Hi, Christy. Good to see you. And Christy, really good to see you. I mean, and it's been a long time since we've seen your name pop up. And thank you. Big hugs to you. And how is that adorable little girl of yours? Sophia. Okay, so Christy's saying, I befriended a few people yesterday because I didn't want to say something to them that I would regret later because I was upset. Yes, so for some people, Christy as in Matthew's Christy, yes. And that's the only Christy I know that we have. So do we have another Christy? I don't think so, Becca. I think that's the only Christy we've ever had. She is sassy. She thinks she's 13. Yes, going on 30, right? How old is she now? And by the way, because of what was going on at the time, I forgot the major congratulations go to Pat and Bill. They've just become grandparents again, and to baby boy Gage, who came in at just over 7 pounds. She's 3 going on 13, yes. And she's got a mouth on her that, she's learned how to say no. But you know something? You have to remember who her parents are, Christy. And this is called payback. That's what I always say. Yes, Gage is a very unusual name, isn't it? And she tells us that we annoy her. out of the mouths of babes, which is wonderful, Christy. I'd like to give you congratulations because you've for her to tell you that, you must have taught her it's okay for her to tell you that her feelings, and well done on that one. Yeah, Nana's saying that her second oldest grandchild is old enough for Facebook, but isn't allowed it yet. Good. So I don't know what is old enough for Facebook. I think that it depends on the parents, doesn't it? What do you consider to be old enough for Facebook? Yeah, Christy, she's sassy like her mama. I knew that. Yes, it's why only the mother? Why only the mother? Doesn't the father have input in this? Yes, and that's, and now somebody's saying, Christy's saying that her nephew has Facebook at 9. Yeah, her parents. Yeah, I think it is up to the parents as to what age they want to allow their children to be on social media. I I believe that children, and this is just my thought, if I had children uh, in the world today, I would not do it by hi boob tube. I would do it by their mental ability. If I felt that if they could take the negativity, if they could process the negativity well, if they could understand the risks properly, if they could answer all those questions properly and understand them, not just give me the right answers, but actually demonstrate to me that they understood it. I think that's more important than actual age, but that's just my personal thing. I've known some very mature 15-year-olds, and I believe you me, I've met some very immature 15-year-olds. The same as I've met some very mature 20-year-olds and some very immature 20-year-olds. And I've met some very mature 30-year-olds and some pretty immature 30-year-olds. You understand? There are some people that have made it all the way to, to retirement, and I'm still going, how could they have lived a lifetime and not learnt this? But it depends on what you were taught. So yes, I think it's a very personal thing. And I also understand that it can be very difficult for young people because all their friends are on Facebook. And so I don't think it's for Facebook to say, I think it's for the parents. So yeah. So Facebook says the minimum age is 14. I am certain there are lots of children way younger than 14 that are on Facebook. All right. So here is the thing. Basically, we are all going to have to say goodbye to different people for different reasons. And the discussion I want to have I think, is the same on so many of these issues. All right. How many of you have been in a relationship and it ended badly and they never even bothered to let you know the reason? Now, some of you know I've had that happen to me a couple of times. And so I can remember, that I just didn't understand why it was over. How come we were planning where to live, 1 week, and the next week it was all done, and with no reason given. I think that's to not have that closure. I think it is, for me, very difficult. But do you understand that it takes two people to be adult for that discussion to go on? When I say adult, there has to be one person that wants to hear the truth and not fight it, and there needs to be another person that's prepared to give the truth and not tell the lies. So let me ask you, from your experience of life, and all of you have had the experience of life, what are some of the amazing excuses you've heard as to why you should be defriended, or why the relationship is over? You know very well that somebody could get a bit of a surprise about this, that you may have been dropping hints for a long time and you're going, how come they never got these hints? Why are they surprised it's over? I've been trying to warn them of that for a long time. Have any of you had that situation? You've been, subtly trying to tell them, I really don't appreciate this behavior, or you're swearing a bit too much, or whatever. You've been dropping these little comments, and they just didn't get it, and therefore you ended up getting so frustrated that this is now over. And okay, so BoobTube, I didn't put in the offer. They came in with a closing date that was it was like in 2 weeks' time, and there's no way I was going to put my money at risk like that. Yeah. Yeah, Pat's saying that Bill has unfriended people because he's sick of seeing what they eat every day. Yes. Um, Good. So let's hear some other reasons why you have unfriended people. We've had that people swear too much. We've had, I find people that are always complaining. I have a problem with, right? Somebody else was saying people that really only ever talk to you because they want something. They're not interested in what's going on in your life. They're always sucking you dry rather than it's not. Somebody taught me something about relationships in general, and I want to make sure that you all hear this one. Somebody said to me that if you have to put in more than 50% of the work in any relationship, it's a red flag. All right. So in other words, if you're having a conversation and every time you have a conversation, it's always about the other person's stuff, there is something wrong with that. And you need to let the person know, do you realize the last 3 conversations we have had, we've only discussed you. You have shown no interest whatsoever in what's going on in my life. And I just want to give you a heads up on that one. All right. So Christy brings up a very good point. Christy says, I've unfriended somebody because they don't respect my wishes and continue to post stuff about my daughter. Yes, that's called an invasion of privacy or privacy, depending which country you grew up in. By the way, Christy, I quite often will take a picture of a young person because they amuse me a great deal, as you know. And I always explain to the parents that I am a YouTuber. Is it okay if I put your adorable daughter on my YouTube vlog? And I've been amazed how many people, I think only one person said no. And almost everybody else said sure. And I will give them my card and said, it should be up in the next couple of days or so. So yeah, please respect other people's privacy. All right. That is, and so I by the way, if you go to somebody's wedding, do not put their wedding pictures up without their permission. All right. I did that by accident once and I got severely told off. And I thought about it. I didn't like it at first. I was a bit upset. But then I gave it a bit of thought and it was like, yeah, surely the bride and groom should be the first ones to put the wedding pictures up. Okay. So this all goes under good manners. And it wasn't my intent to be rude, but I'd never been to a wedding whilst I was a YouTuber before. So I learned something. Yes. So Christy says, if you ask, that's fine. Just don't do it and then get mad if I ask you to take it down. I totally agree with you. Beth is, saying that somebody was actually invading her privacy in terms of her health. They were putting up pictures of MRIs and stuff. Yeah. And not, and that's Beth's decision to make, not somebody else. Wow. Nana's saying that people are taking pictures at a funeral now. Yes, exactly. Pat saying that she didn't even mention the baby's birth until we got the okay from the parents. So the whole point is, as some of you know, I really do try and ask people, is it okay if I mention this? And secondly, I will, if somebody writes to me, even if I'm not going to mention their name, I try to ask them permission to tell their story, even if I don't mention their name, because I think that's polite and right. And I will also let you know that I have, I don't know, you've probably noticed that I will say I do have permission to tell the story. BoobTube says, I unfollow people who put vinegar on their French fries. Those would be the Brits. Yeah. Yeah. Listen, the Brits are in a very sad place at the moment. They got thrown out of the World Cup and then they had a visitation, and they're not happy. So let's just, be kind to the Brits this week. Mm. So I really do try to respect privacy, and I'm not always perfect at it either. Um, Nana, I thank you for that comment. But there have been times when something has happened, but I really do try to respect people's privacy. If they send me a picture, I will actually write and say, "May I share the picture?" And they say, "Of course, I sent it to you." And I go, "No, no, no. One thing is to send it to me because you'd like me to see it. There's another thing, can I show the world?" And so I really do try and make sure that I do that. Even though it may take me 2 or 3 days to get that response, I do try and respect that. They're 'cause they're 2 different ways. For example, I talked about the unboxing of my gift today, but I didn't mention, um actually, I mentioned the person's name, but not their last name. So it's interesting. Beth saying, I asked permission from my daughter to share anything about the new baby. And I agree with you. Nana says, oh, my granddaughters, I share it all. Well, you see, that's the whole point. 2 different points of view. I don't think so. I think today it's like, I would love to share this picture with my friends. Is that okay? So just in case they haven't had a chance. How do you mean that she is old enough now that you don't share her stuff anymore? Surely, out of respect to the parents when they're young, and then to the older person. Yes, I quite agree. I think parents have the right to share the joy of announcing it first. And the same thing is when I thought about it, the wedding couple had the right to put their pictures up first, even though it took a month. I understand that she is now 19 and not a little girl, but what I'm saying that I believe that, at the early years, it's up to the parents to decide, and then I'm not sure what the age is. I guess when the parents say, "Hey, don't ask us anymore, ask her," that would be the age to start asking her if it's okay. But I do think that we should not put people's pictures up on Facebook or anything without permission, and the reason is it is there for life, right? I think even if you're taking the pics if I take pictures of other people, I still think I need their permission to put it up. But that's just personal. Yes, but okay, so you've got a private Facebook, is that right, Nana? The only people who can see your Facebook are your family and friends. Yeah, and, again, as long as your family agree to, have given you permission to put up those photographs, I think it's fine. Even if you took them, um what I would do, this is just me, and I guess that's the difference. I'm not saying it's the right way. But if I took pictures, then I would say, "I've got some great pictures of you here," and I send them, and then I would say, "May I put them up on my Facebook page?" Okay, now Nana makes a very interesting point. Nobody has complained yet, but does that mean that nobody has been upset yet? I don't know. I had an issue at one time where I went somewhere and people were taking video of me when and they were putting it up on Periscope without my knowing that they were filming me. How do you feel about that? Oh, so Beth is saying, first of all, that her daughter has had a 3D ultrasound and the baby is already 3 pounds, 5 ounces and due in 13 weeks. But she also has, am I allowed to talk about that, Beth? Okay. But she also says the sad news is that Victoria has gestational diabetes. Is that is a temporary thing, though, Beth, isn't it? It's not something that will continue. I don't know enough about that. Well, hi to Victoria. It's temporary. That's what I thought. Okay, so have any of the mothers in the room had that themselves? In which case, they might be able to give you some words of help on that one. So the whole point that I'm trying to say here is, I think saying goodbye to anything is as personal as the person that you are discussing. Just scroll back, Nana. She did say, I think she's 13 weeks to go, I think. So, but just scroll back. She did say it. So I don't think there is a good way or a bad way. I think it has to do with the person. So I think some people really do appreciate being told, and I think some people wouldn't care at all. So can I ask you, what were the best ways people say goodbye to you? I mean, it's never a fun thing, right? When somebody says, I don't like you anymore. I'm cutting you off. But did anybody do it the right way? Where you can say, I didn't like it, but it was well done. Um, so Becca is saying it's not goodbye, it's see you later. All right. Or how about I just need to take a break. Some people will say that. Yeah. But only if that is the truth. Do you know that to be true? It could be goodbye for all you know. Something could happen and it might be the last you ever see of her. But yes, that would be we're not saying goodbye, we're saying, we'll see you later. A lot of people have a lot of trouble saying goodbye to people. Or things. How many of you have problems saying goodbye to things? All right. I mean, I've been trying to say goodbye to my things for the longest time. And I sort of do a good job and then I get stuck, and then I do a good job and then I get stuck again. So, and the funny thing is, some of us have moved a great number of times in our lives. And, I came to Canada with, very little. And I'm going, how did I accumulate so much stuff? It's amazing. But I need to say goodbye to more of it. And if I decide to go the luxury fifth wheel route, I'm going to have to say goodbye to 2/3 of what I've got left after I downsize. Think about that one. All right. So one of the viewers is saying, for those of you watching it in the rebroadcast, if I know the true reason why the goodbye happened, I can deal with it. At least I know what happened. Goodbye is forever. So long is only so long till we meet again. Yes. So we need to know, we need to be truthful to the person. Is this, I need a break. So this is just a short-term thing. Or is it goodbye, I never want to talk to you again, which is a very different thing. However, Beth says, goodbyes force us to recognize a change in path, to move away from something causing stress. Yes. Does it take courage to say goodbye? Because I think it does. I think it actually takes great courage to say goodbye to somebody. Now, sometimes it's forced on us, by a death, for example. But even if it's a choice, it is still very, very difficult. So how many of you make sure that you tell the people that you care about that you love them every day, because you don't know whether they're going to be there tomorrow? Yes, Beth. right? Eventually, not saying goodbye will catch up with us. One day it will be regret. Yeah. I really must admit that I try and make sure the people close to me know I appreciate them on a very regular basis. And how many of you do that? How many of you actually tell people why you like them? I have got into the habit now of I will say, in case I haven't told you recently, the reason I really enjoy your company is because da 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 da. Because I think that's really important thing to tell people. That, for example, how many times do you hear me thank Jody because she's so helpful at, taking notes for me while I'm doing a broadcast, for example. Now, she just poo-poos it and goes, "No, it's fine. I love to do it." Da, da, da. No, it's not about that. I know it's an extra effort for somebody who isn't very well to start with to do that willingly. I want to make sure she knows I appreciate it. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, how kind. Um, so you look at it and you go, make sure that you do the right behaviors as far as you can. Make sure people understand why you like them. And therefore, I've had a couple of people in my life actually say goodbye to me and tell me why. Okay, so you're making that a gender thing, boob tube. You're saying, I don't do that. Guess that's a woman thing. No, I don't think it's a woman thing. I don't think it's gender related at all. I think that people deserve to know why you like them. Hey, buddy, I want to tell you, I have always thoroughly enjoyed having a beer with you because da 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 da. You are always so funny and you always make me think. Whatever it is. I don't think it's gender related at all. I don't think it has anything to do with the level of a relationship. I think husband and wife should do it, and as well as friends. It's like I say it. I will say it to children. That something I really well start it, boob. Right? Start it. Are you telling me that men don't need it? Because you're not saying that men don't need it. You're saying men don't do it. So I'm saying then start doing it and see how many. You might get a couple of funny looks to start with, but the truth is, start a trend. You might lose your man card. I don't think so. All right, so Beth's saying it's so important to say goodbye to places and things and bad habits. I say goodbye to my eating disorder, and I wrote a letter to my eating disorder. It helped me go on to what I needed to do. Yeah, and you've done such a great job on it, Beth. But do you understand, Beth, one of the things I wanted to say to you, that in your process of saying goodbye to your eating disorder, have you noticed how many other things you needed to say goodbye to as well? The things that caused the eating disorder. You see, the funny thing is that when we have these funny addictions and stuff going on, we actually don't realize that they are merely the symptom of other things. Why do you need to smoke? Well, I needed to smoke because of this, 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 and this. So it's like when I stopped smoking, it was interesting to me. Beth, but the fact that you can journal is really wonderful. How many of you do journal and tell your truth to the journal? You might BS everybody else, but you actually write the truth in your journal. It's a really important thing to do. Because you need a safe place to be able to get angry and frustrated and to know that. Yes, and it needs to be secret. Do you have a lock on it? I find, for example, that I'm doing this this move that I'm doing. I am trying not trying, I am doing it at my speed, not at everybody else's. Everybody wants me to hurry up, and I'm going, nope, I need to just do this at the right speed for me, because the right speed for me, this is probably the most important move I will do in my life in some ways. And one of the things that I realize is I want to have as many ducks in a row before I do the move. I need not to suddenly be put under very high stress, because I know it's going to be stressful, and I don't want it to be more stressful than it has to be. Do any of you understand that? I know I'm going to say goodbye to the house. One of the discussions I had with the bank is there any way I can hang on to the house and and get rid of the debt? Because I didn't see one, right? But I actually literally said to the bank, is there something I haven't thought of? And I was surprised he didn't say reverse mortgage, but he didn't. So to me, it's like, okay, I want to make sure that I understand that I have done everything I can. So I believe that whether we do this, yes, I agree, Boob. And that's why I was ready to have that discussion if he suggested it. Yeah. I know enough lawyers to know that the reverse mortgage route is very dangerous. But if you don't have family and friends, you know what I mean? It's like, if you're the only one you're looking after, so be it. But you end up, owing an awful lot of money. So the goodbye thing, do you all understand what I'm saying here? Is very personal. I don't think there is a right way. How many of you have not said goodbye to people because you were scared? You didn't know the right way to do it. And it's easier just to, unfriend them. Has anybody done that? So the question is that okay? Beth said she used to avoid goodbyes. Yes. All right. So some people have done it and some people will never do it. You understand? Yeah. You see, Boob says, if I unfriend somebody, you're going to know why. And all right. So this is what I always believe in life. If you don't know what to do, ask yourself, what would you want done in the reverse? Did you understand what I'm saying? Ask yourself, if somebody was about to unfriend me, would I want them to tell me why? Yes, Boob's saying that I let them know why because I hope they will live and learn. Now, you might not be right in your opinion, Boob. You're presuming that you are right in your opinion when you say, I hope people will live and learn. All right. But that's I don't do it for a learning processes. Yeah, I think when I do it, I suppose I do in a way. Yeah, good point. Okay. Yes, and so how many? That's an interesting one, Beth. Okay, for me to talk about that. Yeah, Beth has an unfortunate past with her mother, and she said, I avoided goodbye to my mom. I couldn't even go to her funeral. I had already mentally said goodbye for the abuse. No problem, Boo. So Beth, yes, sometimes you've already said the goodbye. I didn't go to my ex-husband's funeral for this. It was like I'd already said goodbye. And if I went to the funeral, it would be for the wrong reasons. I would go to be seen, to be seen, to be there. Do you know what I mean? And I decided I'm not going to do that. And to me, that was double faced, duplicitous. It was like, you know, uh, why would I do that? I go to funerals of people for different reasons. Now, I want to go back to Kubler-Ross for a moment, but just in case any of you haven't done any work on this. And what Kubler-Ross said is that we have a process, and it doesn't matter what you're saying goodbye to. All right. So I want you to imagine for a second that even if it's something as simple as defriending somebody on Facebook, you are going to go through this cycle. And the first cycle is denial. You sort of avoid the reality that you're starting to get, a little concerned about this, but you actually, uh, you're going, no, maybe I'm just, reacting too strongly. Or you're going, I can't believe that person is doing that to me. Right? And then the next part of the cycle is anger. They're doing it again. I've warned them not to do this, and they're doing it again, or whatever it is that you are angry about. The third part of the cycle is bargaining. Maybe you do reach out to them and say, hey, buddy, I just want to warn you that, and if you keep on this behavior, I'm going to need to defriend you. Now, there have been some people on the DearMamaSal broadcasts that I've had to write to them privately and say, I just want to let you know that I'm finding your language a little strong. And I really, we all, have a moment where we let rip, but, your language is really too strong, or you are too negative, or you are whatever, please be aware that if you continue with this, that, I may need to do something about it. Now, quite honestly, I haven't needed to do anything about it very much because most people either go away or they hear me, so that is something. That's the bargaining part. Then you can go into depression. All right. And that is a stage of grief, by the way, depression. All right. Because you're overwhelmed, you feel helpless, you feel some level of hostility, and you just want to run away from, you don't want to face reality. And the reality is you got to say goodbye. It's not never go. How many of you know you just want it to go back to how it was? Well, it's never going to go back to how it was. If it's a death or something, it's never going to go back to how it was. And so we have to learn to cope with what's now our present, right? And then eventually there is acceptance. And acceptance is when you start saying, okay, fine, it's going to be different, but now let me make new plans. Now, the point that I wanted to repeat, and I say it every time I talk about loss, is that cycle, you can cycle back against it. In other words, you can think that you've got to acceptance and suddenly find yourself back bargaining or in anger or whatever. And it'll keep cycling like that until you've worked most of it out. And how many of you have found that you can relive um, the pain of goodbyes years later? And so, it's just everybody does it their own way. So I would have a look at two things. If you haven't ever defriended somebody, maybe you may think about that. Why not? How many people continue to really, upset you and you still don't do anything about it? If you are constantly being defriended, you might want to ask why. What is it about my behavior that causes that? And what is it I am not, I would say that in a lot of cases, you probably are not picking up on the social cues early enough. Now, I must admit, okay, Becca, have a good day. How's the job, by the way? I meant to ask you that at the beginning. All right, I'll let you know what Becca says when I hear that. And you too, Becca. Um, so do you understand? I think the whole thing about this befriending and being befriended, it's there to teach us a lesson. I certainly have people that I should have defriended a long time ago. And, once I got healthier, I could see that. I'm going, why did I keep these people in my life? They just kept sucking the energy out of me. They never, they were pretend friends. They weren't real friends. And the other thing is, what I found in a lot of cases is that I had to get really honest with people. And I really would recommend that you do that. If you find that you've got a friend, for example, that is always sad or miserable or, just, is feeling so sorry for themselves, the best help you can give them is to tell them, get some help. Really. I'm not a therapist, and you appear to need one because every conversation we have, revolves around this issue. And you really need to be working on this, but you need to be doing it with a professional. And I'm not trained to do this. And, so that's one thing I would say. Make sure that you do that. The other thing is, if you've got people that are, taking way more than they give, I would really encourage active listening, right? Where you hear what they're saying and then ask them a question. Don't just hear them out and hear them out and hear them out. Actually start asking questions. What have you done about that? What does the doctor say? I always do that with people who are going on about complaints about things. I go, okay, fine. And what did the doctor say? Well, I haven't been. Okay. And if they keep complaining, I go, what did the doctor say? Well, I haven't been. Yeah, I know. Because you basically, if it's worrying you that much, then go see a doctor. Don't just complain about it, do something about it. So the bottom line I really wanted to get to here is I'm not sure that there is a right way. How many of you are really compassionate people and you don't want to defriend somebody because you're scared it might hurt them? But think about who is getting hurt. Are you getting hurt in the process? That is something that you need to look at. Beth, I've been pretty straight with you in terms of the job thing, right? Which is, if you only get one day off and they keep calling you in on that one day, the person who says yes is the person you want to get upset with, not the company. Do you understand my point? Which is like, if you keep saying yes, they'll keep phoning you. And they'll probably keep phoning you anyway because you're their first choice. All right. So the point is that you need to understand that. Now, if they phone you, which they did, and said there's a special meeting that it's mandatory. If you are a part-time person, I'm not sure if mandatory is in their realm, because you could have another job. You could be doing two jobs at the same time. So I would actually, you know what I would do, Beth? I would actually speak to somebody about that. Maybe have a look at your employment standards for something. Look for that online. The employment standards for your state, wherever you live. And just say to them, see if you can, if there's a forum somewhere where you can ask questions, and just I'd actually, find a lawyer forum or something, and just say, I work part-time. I've been called into a meeting, and they say it's mandatory. Do I have to go? And see what answers you get, but make sure you understand who's answering you. All right, make sure they're qualified to answer you. The other side of it is, if you say no, then it could work against you. All right, and that is something that's called risk management. Will they give me less hours because I didn't go in? Yeah, it's possible. But will you get your day off? Sure. Um, Beth, you will remember that one of the things I said to you when you were offered the management job is make sure you understand what you're saying yes to. Because it is my experience that most people who get offered a management position in those sort of jobs, it actually makes you very, very liable. You're always called in to cover for people who haven't turned up. And then you will also have, but you're a manager, that's your job now, which is why I warned you before you took that job. All right. Are they paying you more to be a manager? Because they're about to give you a lot more responsibility. And to me, it's like, hey, I don't mind taking the job. What does it pay? Well, no, it's the same pay. No, so you're just going to give me a title and a lot more responsibility. Is that right? And it's like, the title doesn't impress me that much. Yes, you just want to work. You don't want the added stress. And I hope that I helped a little bit with that one, Beth, because that is what I wanted to make sure you kept level-headed on, which is, you know, I have refused many promotions in my time for that very reason. And I've taken on some that I wish I never had, because really it turned out to be just a title and a lot more stress without any reward to me. I was stupid enough to take it. Good. Mm. And something, what I found as well, when I work myself to my bone, and Beth, that's why I'm so insistent on this now. When I work myself into an anxiety state, or wore myself out completely, and had to go on stress leave, did they care? No, they fired me. So they found a clever way of doing it, but basically they got rid of me because I was on stress leave. And, at the time I was very angry, but I can see now that I created it. Yep. And so that is, and that to me, Beth, I compare what you're doing to what I'm doing, which is like every stage of what I'm doing. Yes, I could do this faster, but do I want the stress of doing it faster? So yeah, that's how I look at it as well. Okay. So hopefully that wasn't too painful. And my question is, um, how will you do it differently? If you need to say goodbye to stuff, how will you do it differently? Because to me that is really what this is about. Can you see that that for some people you probably do want to let them know why, if you care about them? All right, so Nana's saying for her, the stress relief would be to move quickly. Okay? And that's, again, you see, that's a different personality. To me, it's like, okay. I really won't move until I know I have found the route that I am meant to take. You know what I mean? It's like I'm close enough now that if I had to, I could, probably put the house on the market in a couple of weeks now. But do I have reason to? Not really. Yes, that's very kind of you to remember that we're two of you working on it. Yeah. Yes, and Beth, that is so true, right? The thing is, if you give people a few chances, but then you have to come to a point which goes, I had one person that was borrowing money from me, and they borrowed money once, and you go, okay, fine. They never repaid it. And then they came back for more. Um, And then they came back again. And, I just went, this is the last time. Just want to tell you that not only is this the end of the bank, according to Sal, but it's also the end of our friendship. Because, you have done this too many times and you've never even paid back 1 cent of what you have borrowed, which tells me you have no intent. You're a user. If you had paid me back $1 a month, I would have been in a very different position. But you didn't. You just kept taking. So here's the thing. Here you go. Take my money. But don't ever come back. Even in friendship, don't come back. Now, to me, I had to do that for my self-preservation. And, it was difficult to do, quite honestly, but it was like, no, this is not friendship. This is a pretend friend, and I don't have time for pretend friends. Yeah, and that's a very good point that Nana makes. She's actually smart enough to have taught her sons that reality. And somebody said, yes, I'd love to. One of her sons said, yes, I'd love to borrow the money, but I know I'd have to pay it back. And that is what that we need to teach people that. What I say today when people want to borrow money from me, yeah, I can lend you the money. How do you? But let's go to a lawyer and work out how you're going to pay it back. Okay. And they go, what? And I go, well, let's draw up a legal document how you're going to repay it. Well, I don't want to do that. Well, okay. Then find somebody else to borrow the money from. Because today it's like, yeah, I can lend you money. But I need to know how you're going to repay it. Now, this isn't in all cases. You all know that I probably would give most people the shirt off my back. But if I have any sense that you are just using me as a private bank, then that's what I do now. Beth, I wanted to say, hi, Mia. Well, Mia, I want to tell you, I always say to people, Mia, that if it helps one person, then it's worth all the time I spend. It definitely is. So thank you for telling me that, because then it makes it well worth the time. Yes, and Nana, if you asked me for $100, I would lend it to you without taking you to the lawyer first. So this is about, again, know your person. All right. But the other thing is, I don't think you would ask me for $100. Right? So, this is about, I don't think that you should have to. I think I should know that you're in need of $100 and just give it without you having to ask. How many of you have done that for people that you could actually see they were having a rough time? Yeah, that's right, boob. Yeah, can I have 500, please? That's why I wouldn't ask for 100. Right? Somebody did something for me once that I thought was really clever. I was in a stage of my life that I was really in a bad way and struggling. And somebody literally opened up their wallet and handed me $100 gift voucher for the local grocery store. And I just went, that is incredible. And I was duly grateful because I needed it. But I thought that is a great way to help somebody, right? If you know they're struggling, right, get a gift card and let them have a gift card so you know that they're going to eat. Yeah. Or if you're good at cooking, cook something. Yes. There are ways of helping people. Maybe a gift card to the dollar store, because you can get a lot of things in a dollar store. I would actually give a lot of people, if I thought they were really struggling, a dollar store gift card, because there they can get a lot of things in different areas, or a Walmart card. But I would actually go for a dollar store. Um, yeah, Beth, one of the discussions I had with my bank, just so that you know, one of the discussions I had with my bank is I've got a couple of choices. And at my age, you understand these choices are important. I'm going to have enough money when I sell this house. I'm going to have enough money to be able to buy myself, if I really wanted to, a 2-bedroom apartment. But it would mean taking all my money just about and plowing it in there. And then I would need to live on baked beans on toast, right? Because I would have to live on my pension. Does that make sense? And I said, I would rather live in a smaller area and be able to live. Right? And when I say live, I would rather live in a smaller area and take a cruise every year. I would rather, you know, get a nice looking fifth wheel, smaller size, and make a plan around the other stuff. No, I don't want another house. I don't want gardens. I don't want upkeep. That's part of what I don't want. I don't want the responsibility of a house anymore. I've been there, done that. I'm 70 now, for goodness sake. I do not want to be mowing lawns I don't mind watering a couple of tubs of flowers. That's okay. But I don't want a house. I don't want to dust a house and I don't want to clean a house. So, and that's what I realize, that I'm going to be literally taking myself out of, I have 2,400 square feet here, and I'm seriously considering moving down into 400 square feet. And the interesting thing is, I'm going to do it for a year. Yeah, actually, it's funny, Mia, that Benji. Whenever Benji comes to visit me, it's one of the things I notice he always does. He opens up my fridge. And it's like, I think he's got this thing in his life. He works out whether somebody's in trouble by looking what's in their fridge. Yes, well, hang on a second, Boo. Before you make that judgment, I rent the bottom part of my house, so I'm not living in 2,400 square feet. I live in probably 12, I would think. Yeah. So, but the thing is, what I'm going to do is probably try it for a year. Lock away enough money that if I go stir crazy, that I can go and get an apartment. And I will still own a fifth wheel, but it's like I'll still have enough money to go and get an apartment. So, but I still haven't seen the houseboats. I'm really going to go and see houseboats next. That's my next thing. And unfortunately, my realtors have been caught up with, life has got in their way. They've had a death in the family and all sorts of things. So, yeah, that's interesting. Have you got 2,400 square feet there, Nana? Why would I have to pay rent every month? Well, that that amazes me because I have 5 bedrooms. Yeah, I'm not sure. I would say, Yes, but but with being a landlord, also has costs attached to it. You understand? You're talking about a bigger house means bigger rates and taxes. It means more electrical costs, more all sorts of things. Yeah, I would think yes, maybe 1800 sounds more realistic. Maybe Nana. I definitely wouldn't say it's 2400. When I compare mine to yours, I would say that yours is, although it's big, and it is big, mine is, mine feels a lot bigger. I think I live in 1200 square feet upstairs. That's my guess. So, understand that the grass is always greener. And I want you to understand that there are different ways of looking at this. I will miss the people, Boob. I will miss the people more than the money. And I've got to say that. I will miss I've lived with this with my friend Yvonne for 20 years nearly. So I will miss her particularly more than I will miss the money. And if there was a way that I could keep the house and keep us as a intact unit, I would do that, but I can't. That's the whole point of going and having that discussion. So, but I knew this would probably happen in my life. Where will they go? They might not have to go. They could have the same situation that I had. A lot of people want a good renter. Getting a good renter is like gold dust. And so it's very possible that, like myself, the person who buys my house will buy it with her in it. And she's been here longer than I have. So you're talking about a reverse mortgage. I want to tell you that is not a good thing. There are a lot of very, very difficult things about reverse mortgages. I've done quite a bit of research into all of this, and I haven't found a lawyer that thinks it's a good idea. Now that's interesting, all right? Yes, the banks want to have you do it, but I haven't found a lawyer that thinks a reverse mortgage is a good idea. So when I do my research on things, I ask all sorts of different people from all sorts of different walks of life. Yeah. And I don't think very many people do. The thing is that lawyers know the bad side of that because it ends up with a lawyer at the end. Yes. And that's Boob saying that his uncle lost his house over a reverse mortgage. And I have heard many horror stories like that. They ended up without the equity and without their house and owing a lot of money. So, yes, exactly. Right. So the bank wants you to do it so it can get your home. That's right. And, so anyway, I did look at it and I did discuss it with a number of people. So saying goodbye is never easy for any of us. That is the point that I want to make. Make sure you know the reason why you're saying goodbye. Even with downsizing, I am looking at things and going, okay, I've downsized this much. Now my next thing is to downsize a lot more. But if I end up doing, yeah, that's how we learn, Nana, is to ask those questions. So thank you for asking the question. Thank you, Boob, for saying I'm a smart cookie. Actually, I was quite surprised that the bank said the same thing. They said, "Boy, you've really done your homework." And I said, "Well, yeah, I have actually. I'm taking it very slowly and one step at a time because I want to make sure I feel comfortable with each move I do." So I know that I could have to take everything that I've packed up and throw it away. And that is the interesting thing. As I downsize, I realize that all the stuff that is already packed up, I have lived without for at least 3 or 4 months now. Does that make sense to everybody? The stuff I've already packed up, I've lived without for 3 or 4 months. I think something happened yesterday where I thought, oh, I need so and so. And I went, oh, no, that's packed. And I don't need it that badly. It didn't need it badly enough to go and hunt it down. right? And so what I know is that in my life, the stuff I've already packed up, I could actually take and throw it away. That is pretty sad, but it is true because I've lived without it for that long. The other thing is, I used to be able to bank it, Boob, but I retired. So now I need that money. It's different. And that's why I need to get out from under the house, because I need to be able to free up my equity. Do you understand what I'm saying in that? I've got a No, I won't need it. I've got enough. I've got a lot of equity in my house, enough to last me hopefully for the rest of my life, if I live carefully. And that's why I'm doing it, right? Is to be able to get out from the debt, not owe anybody anything, and then start again. But this time, the money I have. By the way, do you know what the average life expectancy is today? I was having that discussion. The bank keeps tabs on that one, and it's important for them to know what the average life expectancy is. So have a guess what the current life expectancy is. Okay, so Boob's saying 87. Anybody want to make a different guess on that one? Nana says no idea. I was told, you're pretty close, Boob. They say that the life expectancy now is somewhere between 90 and 100. That's what the banks work on. That's how life has changed in the last generation. That's how science has really, changed. And so when you're working out, when you're working out how much money do I need to retire, do not work that, like my mom died at 84. So, my sense was, well, if my mom died at 84, I probably will too. And they're saying no, plan to live to 90 at least. You probably um, with the way that science has changed and medicine has changed, that really you can live to 90 to 100 quite easily. And so you should plan your money that way. Yes, Nana lives in an area where there are quite a lot of retired people, right? And how many of them are still self-sufficient, Nana, right? I would think almost everybody there. Yeah. And so a part of my experience is that's why I want community and are able and smart. Yes. So what I'm looking to do is I want to downsize, not spend all my money in trying to maintain a home. I want to spend my money having fun. I would like to be able to, go and do things. And not always be thinking, is that a smart thing to spend my money on at this time? Yes, and look at that. Jody says Lionel's great aunt just turned 101 and goes out to breakfast every day with her friends. Isn't that wonderful? Yes, and that's that's how I look at it. I don't want to downsize and spend my life knitting. I believe that if I get myself into a community type situation, I'm going to be helping people. I'm going to be probably cooking for people who can't, you know, cook very well or whatever, I will be continuing to do what I do. I will continue to. Do you know one of the interesting things for some of you, I hope, one of the things that really is interesting to me is any place I look at, I go, where would I broadcast from here? That's always a good question I ask myself. Yes, Nana, I know that you do a lot of that. I know that you do a lot of work, caring for people, cooking and shopping. Yes. And I'm pretty certain that I would do the same, take the garbage or do whatever. And then hopefully, as I get older, people would do it for me. And that's why I would like to sort of be in that more of a community. And you've got a nice community there. Oops, excuse me. I think whenever you give to other people, it always makes you happy, right? Beth says in Canada, the average life expectancy was 79 years for males and 81 for females. All right. Now, the bank actually says it's more, says it's 80. It is actually 90 to 100 for females. Yeah. Yes. So, I guess the truth is depends. I think, when you look at it as well, Beth, they got to look at me and go, this is what she looks like. This is where her mind's at. This is whatever at 70. All right. So I think that also plays into it. All right. How many of you know people of my age that basically have given up? Do you know what I mean? And so to me, I think it has a lot to do with your who you are. I know one day I said to my doctor in passing, I don't want to sound like a hypochondriac, but and I started a conversation with that, and he literally he literally picked up a file, and it was probably that deep, and he said, Sal, I've been treating you for 30 years. This is the size of your file. I know people who have files that deep in a year. Believe me, you are not a hypochondriac. Do you understand? So again, I don't think it's about individual. I think it is about individuals. It depends on who you are as an individual. I get upset because I have to go back to my doctor and get my medications renewed every 3 months. And I'm just going, why can't he just send them to me? It's just, why do I have to drive for half an hour to go get this? Well, he needs to know I'm still healthy and functioning. And that can change, right? And so, there's part of it that goes, I would say, but it's more than good genes, I think. Boo. I think it's more than good genes. I think it depends on your attitude. I think it depends on. By the way, I was saying this at lunchtime, that this new watch of mine tells me so much that it actually surprises me. I'm so glad I spent the extra money, because one of the things that it keeps a constant check on what my blood pressure is, and what I'm amazed is that my resting, not my what do you call it, heartbeat, beats per minute. And what amazes me is that my resting heart rate. Do any of you know your resting heart rate? Yes, but not overdoing it, Beth. All right. There's a difference between keeping active and going like a bat out of hell. It counts my steps every day. It not only counts how many hours I sleep, but at how many minutes in each level of sleep. This is like amazing. I'm going to really start doing a video on it, because it actually told me things that normally I would have to go in and get tests done to be able to find that information. And because the watch told me that, I was able to change something I was doing and change it. It didn't tell me how many grapes I ate, but if it does have an app where I can tell it, and it will keep track for me. So I had a fitness watch before, but I've got to tell you that this is so far, yes, this is a Fitbit, and it's a Fitbit Charge 2, I think it's called. But the strange thing is, it's not considered waterproof, and my other one was. So I've had to learn to take it off when I shower, because for the last 2 years, I've had a watch that I didn't have to take off when I showered. So that's a learning process, but that's okay. I thought it was waterproof when I bought it, but I found out later that it wasn't considered fully waterproof. So it suggested you don't shower with it. But the thing that I was trying to explain is that I found out in the first couple of days that I was wearing it that I was missing out on REM sleep again, and also on deep sleep. Those two were very, very minimal. And that's what caused my problem in the first place. And what I did was, once I knew that information and I could track it for a couple of days that it continued, I then actually started to do things that I knew would improve my REM and my deep sleep. And I've been sharing that information with Jody, and Jody will tell you that I have significantly changed those two areas of my sleep. So to me, that knowledge is important to me. You know something, Boob? I'm a great believer. It's not the number, it's the quality of the people that are there. Yeah. So the other thing is, Boob, I also know that people will come in and go out, but I also know a lot of people actually watch it on the replay now because they know it's available. And so that's great. And by the way, my attitude is, if this helps one person, that's good. Hi, Jamie. Good to see you. So when you look at all these things, right? And I say this, that, it's, no, I don't do dinner until Sunday, but Sunday is the day that I cook dinner for other people. That's when I do. What will it be this week? I am thinking of cooking lamb for 2 of us and chicken for the other 2. Now, the reason for that is because there are 2 of us in the house that love lamb and 2 of us that don't. So I will cook lamb for 2 of us with mint sauce, mashed potato, and peas, probably. And yeah, mint sauce is very important to me. And then I will cook chicken or something for the other people. They can have chicken. Yeah. Now, does it sound really difficult to cook 2 different lots of meat? Not really. They go on 2 different sides of the barbecue, because I will be barbecuing them. And, I have a barbecue mat, and I have an electric barbecue, which actually cooks at a lower heat. And so I just love it because it cooks very succulent meat. And I'm really used to cooking on it now, and I really do enjoy it. So there we go. And that is what I have for today. Does anybody have anything else that they want to add or discuss? And I say that, you're good? Okay. So we will be back on Sunday, and Sunday is normally our soul stuff. And we will be doing our usual Soul Sunday type broadcast. I'm hoping that this will help a lot of people to understand that the way you say goodbye depends on who you are and who it is you're trying to say goodbye to. I personally think that if you want to defriend somebody that you're not very close to, and they're just, they're not really important to your life, you can do that. But if they're important to you in your life, or they were, then you may want to do it a different way. That would be my bottom line. And always ask yourself, if somebody was doing this to me, what would I want them to do? And, I don't think you can go far wrong with that, because the chances are that you actually attract people who have the same sort of values. And that is the thing. So whatever works for you probably will work for them as well. Beth, not a problem at all. We know that some people come in some days and some can't. So that's quite all right. Thank you for letting me know, though. Yeah. So long for now, right? Not saying goodbye. That's cute, Boob. I like that. Big hugs to you. Thank you for being here. So everybody, thank you. And we will catch you up with you on Sunday. And congratulations again. Go out to Bill and Pat with their new grandson that is so cute. And we will have fun. Remember to look after one another. But as usual, please, please, please start by looking after yourself. Don't give to others things you do not give to yourself. And I don't mean that you should be selfish. I mean, make sure that you are good to yourself. This is Dear Mama Sal saying bye-bye for now.